What's up, y'all? This is a tutorial on how to use GIMP. This is the photo editing software I use to make videos for the team that I upload stuff for, and this is free. I've already talked about it previously in my previous tutorial, just free download, highly recommend it. I'm going to show you some of the basic things I do. I'm just going to focus over here. I want this to be posted on Instagram, which means we're going to come over here to the crop tool. The shortcut for that is Shift-C, really good to memorize that. And I want this to be cropped down to 4:5 aspect ratio because that's one of Instagram's aspect ratios, and it gives me a vertical format because they don't do 16:9, which is really annoying. How you do that? Come over here, you press on fixed aspect ratio 4:5. Nice and easy. Drag your box, position it to be exact where you want. Make sure you get nice equal spacing, like you want equal. I want about perfect, just like that. Enter. This is our whole image now, nice and easy. Now let's say I want to add some text. Well, I'm going to come over here, press my T button. I already have a font kind of preloaded as my basic. Yours should be, I think Calibri is just what it generally starts with. And I'm going to start off by switching this color. I want just like the white. I have a slightly off white that I use. I kind of like it. Garfield. Wonderful. Garfield. Nice, right? And wow, right? Yeah, but I want it to stretch the whole screen. Well, you could make the text all big and say, great, well, that fills up, but I don't want the text to be that big. Let's say I want this text to, again, just be 150, but I want to stretch across the whole screen. You come here and you press this button. That stretches it out all this way. And you're like, great, now I got it where you want. You press this little button up here. Now you can move your text around. Now this is basically what I spend a lot of my time doing. It's like kind of guessing and checking. You press T to get back into it, Control A to select it all. I want to stretch it out a little bit more. Back over here, bring it in, try and get it nice and equal in the corners, and you know what? I think that looks great. Just for this tutorial, we're going to call that good. Now let's say I want to add another piece of text. I press T, I go below it. Automatically when I type in it, notice how there's going to be a new layer over here. Wonderful. Let's say I'm just going to do, I want to change my font. Maybe I'm going to come over here. There's two ways you can do that. One is locally. You can come here and change it. I use Enter Sandsman Bold as the other one I use. That should be a free font online. Purple haze. Wonderful. Splendid. Control A. Stretch it out. Now that's one way to get a new font, or you can come over here and do it here. Whatever you put in this left font, or the left side that I'm highlighting with my mouse right now, that will apply. That will be the new default. Now let's say I'm going to have a rectangle. Be a little careful when you add these rectangles because this layer is selected. Go down here, pressing it. Boom. Now we got our image layer selected. Press R. Get yourself a nice little rectangle. Find the spot you want to start it, drag it, and you know what? Boom, perfect. That's my rectangle. Two ways you can do this. You can either press P to get your paintbrush, and you can manually paint in your colors, or you can just press B for your bucket tool. Should be B. Yeah, Shift B for your bucket tool, and then you can fill it in just like that. Nice and easy. Don't press enter yet. Sorry about that. And we're done. Press your B button. Boom. Got a rectangle. Image is looking more complete. Now, let's say I want to get some nice big text in here celebrating. Let's say I'm going to do, let's just bump this up. Let's do 400. Just try around a little bit. Let's do bison. Right? Great. Okay, this text isn't the most visible. We'll change it over to that white color I like using just for demonstration. But let's say I want this text to be behind him. Well, how do you do that? Really easy way to do it. There's two ways to do it. I'll show you guys both. Right click on the text layer, add layer mask, white full opacity. I don't like this. I'll show you what it looks like though. When you come here, then grab your paintbrush tool, change your color to black, and then wherever you draw, it gets rid of. Make sure then that when you're done with the rectangle, you go to select none. You can also just do the hotkey for that, Shift, Control A. I forgot to mention that I don't like to add the rectangle until the very end, but it is useful to have. Go back to your text layer. Now wherever you draw, it gets rid of. You can see it working just like that. That's one way to do it. Typically, the way you're really going to want to do that is you kind of draw, get rid of that fine stuff, and then you say, okay, great, switch it back to white. Drop that brush size a whole bunch, and then go and draw it in. Remember, just like with normal art, you want quick, confident strokes. And don't be afraid to just run it back if it doesn't look the way you want. And like, great, that's behind his hat. Up here, we got that layer, and then boom, and then boom. Wonderful, look at that. Then down here, we're just gonna run this across. Ooh, looks like there's a lot there. That is a direction, but no, so yeah, maybe I won't. And there you go. And that's how you get that text behind a person. That's one way to do it. That's sometimes I like to do it if I'm doing little stuff, sometimes I don't. The other way to do it, let's go back and get rid of all this change. Come here, delete that layer mask. The other way to do it, add layer mask, black full opacity. Where'd my text go? Don't worry. God damn it. We come over here and we draw it all in. This is nice if you have a lot of stuff you need to cover and you're like, okay, great, well, I have another person there. So you gotta dodge it, gotta dodge it. If you're dodging things, this is a wonderful way to do it. And finally, let's say you want to get some text upright, change the orientation of it. The other way to do that is you're gonna come over, and I'm not gonna bother making this super fine, we're gonna call boom, boom. We're gonna call that good. The way to get that text vertical, T tool, right click on your text, and then right here, vertical, right to left. Move that back in so you can actually see what it looks like. And that'll put it like this, or you can come here, boom, right click, and then there you go. Alright, and the other thing I forgot to mention earlier, because I did press recording, is the colors. For the colors, press the colors tab. You got all these different things. The main ones I use are hue saturation. Gives you access to, wow, I want to deep fry my image, I want to make it monochrome, right? Well, let's make it a little bit more. Great, look, that adds some more color in it. You want to make your image brighter? There you go. I kind of like a little brighter on this. And maybe you want it a little more, yeah, you want a little more sunsetty, like, whoa, alien. I want to bring it up here, get all green. You can do whatever you want. You can see the colors change up there. It's like cool RGB show. I typically don't mess around with hue all too much. I like it typically right where it is. Boom, there you go. Other one, main one I mess around with is curves. This allows you to curve the highlights and shadows. Typically I bump up the highlights a tiny bit, drop down the shadows a tiny bit. Makes there be a little more contrast, makes the image look a little more distinct. You can also come in here and play around with a little bit, like, you know what, maybe I want some of these midtones a little bit more bright. You can kind of come over here and level out some parts of the image. You know, do whatever you want. All right. And then there are more options here. Those are the main two I use. You do have your exposure, which if you crank all the way up will just fry your image. You can see my PC is not too happy about that generation. Or you drop it all the way down, black. There you go. That's the color tab. Finally, I'm going to show you how to reset your tools because this happened to me a couple times. Edit. Preferences. If you like, here actually I'll show you what this looks like first. Let's say you've got like your brush tool on your, like, okay, great, and then you accidentally like drag it out and you're like, oh, what do? I want to just close out of that. Well, where'd my tool go? Or maybe you're doing it with your brushes. You come over here and you're like, oh, I get rid of that. And like, oh, where'd my brushes go? Edit. Preferences. Window management. Reset. Okay. And there you go. It's that easy. It'll restart once you reboot. Thanks for watching.